Welcome to the Smart Weight Loss Coaching Podcast. I'm Dr. Lisa Olson, a board-certified weight loss medicine specialist and certified life coach. In this podcast, I'll share fresh insights and effective techniques for incorporating mindset, habit change, and proven science into your life. Are you ready to achieve sustainable weight loss, wellness, and longevity? Then let's jump in and lose weight the smart way. Welcome back. About a month ago, we talked about 10 different personality types and what they have in common when it comes to feeling stuck with weight loss. You might remember that we started with the snacker. The snacker might say, I eat healthy food all day long, but after dinner, I blow it by snacking. Today, we're going to dive into the second personality type, which is the busybody. She's not a busybody in the sense of being nosy and in other people's business. She's simply incredibly busy all of the time. She is on the move. Unfortunately, this movement usually involves her fingers on the keyboard, returning phone calls, or driving someone somewhere. If you have a little bit of the busybody in you, you might think, I'm too busy to spend time cooking or packing food for lunch, so I have to grab food on the go. Or you might think, I'm too busy or too exhausted after a busy day to exercise. I want to, but I just can't. Very often, the busybody is working hard, juggling a job, family duties, her finances, and other responsibilities. In fact, I'm going to stop calling her the busybody because that sounds pejorative. She's hustling, she's working, she's juggling. She might be overwhelmed or stressed, but she doesn't show it or ask for help. She might not even recognize it herself because she thrives on her reputation as someone who's always booked up, swamped with tasks, and keeping everyone and everything afloat. This second weight loss personality type looks to others like she's Superwoman because of all that she handles without ever complaining. She hates to say no because she's a people pleaser and a high performer, which only adds to her busyness. But lately, she's starting to feel a little burned out. And it's no wonder. Being this busy isn't good for anyone's mental health. We all need time to breathe. If this is you, or if it's sometimes you, I have so much compassion for the thought that you're just too busy to make a home-cooked meal or take time to go for a walk. When you feel like you're drowning in tasks, these acts of self-care seem impossible. I used to tell myself that too, and sometimes I still do. It's a very human thought to believe we just don't have time for exercise. Time for a walk with a friend feels like a luxury reserved for other people. What's that expression? I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's funny, but not actually all that funny because sometimes it rings true. The Surgeon General recently said that parents are experiencing an overload crisis, and he's right. Working parents are suffering from unprecedented levels of stress and loneliness. This is why it's more critical than ever to examine our thoughts and raise our awareness of the obstacles we put in our own way. Just like the snacker, the busy working parent might think they don't have a choice. They might believe they simply don't have the ability to make a healthy dinner or get a little exercise in their day because they're so busy. But both of these personality types, the snacker and the busybody, share something in common. They both have the ability to change the narrative. We'll talk about how to do that, but first, let me give you a recent example that happened to me. My daughter was having some health challenges that were worse in the mornings, so getting her up and out the door to catch her school bus was hard. She missed the bus constantly, and then I had to drive her, which meant that I was racing to get back to my computer and found myself feeling unprepared and flustered for my first call of the day. I hate that feeling because my intention is to always show up as my best self for my clients, highly prepared, completely focused, and also in a great outfit, even if I'm on Zoom. So my mornings felt hectic and disorganized, and because my kids had different after-school activities, I had 2 separate pickup schedules every afternoon too. This made it stressful to see my clients and get my work done because I was repeatedly driving the 30-minute round trip to and from school. I was always saying, I have to drive the kids here, or I have to pick them up from there. And because of those obligations, I was finding it hard to exercise or take the time to cook healthy meals, especially during the week. Recently, I decided to curate my thoughts about driving my kids. Why? Because my thought that I had no choice but to drive them all the time created a feeling of exasperation and confinement. I don't know if confinement is exactly the word I'm searching for. It was the opposite of time freedom. Let's say that. I didn't feel free. I felt confined, restrained, limited, taxed, captive. I felt tethered. And when I felt tethered to my kids and their schedules, I didn't even try to exercise or cook complete meals. I just gave up without even trying. Now that I'm curating my thoughts to create a feeling other than tethered, and therefore a different outcome, I started by reminding myself that they're in high school and actually capable of getting to school on their own if they had to. They could walk a half a mile to catch a local bus if they missed their school bus, and they're capable of getting themselves to school even if I'm not around to help them. I also started telling myself that I'm really lucky to have a flexible job, so I can spend this precious time with each of them in the car. I don't have too many more years with them at home. They tend to be talkative when I get them alone in the car, one-on-one, and these daily conversations help me understand what's going on with them. Instead of thinking, I have to pick up the kids, I started thinking, I'm so lucky that I get to pick up my kids. When I think about being lucky enough to pick up my kids, I feel more relaxed. I feel lucky. 2 extra hours don't drop from the sky just because I think I'm lucky, but I do feel less crunched for time. When we get home, I'm more likely to let them head into the house themselves while I stay outside to walk for 20 or 30 minutes. Or sometimes I'll take an hour walk before heading back in and getting to work. When I do get back to my computer after that walking break, my brain is fresh and I'm actually more productive. Even though I work a little later, I find I'm more organized when I stop working and pull together dinner. I'm not exhausted like I used to be when I either hunched over my computer or my steering wheel all day long. We can all create a feeling of being less stuck and more peaceful about our schedules by recognizing that we have choices. Just like I don't have to drive my kids to school if they miss the bus. The school is 2.5 miles away. They're teenagers. They can walk, bike, or take public transportation. And they can suffer the natural consequences of being late. When I drive them, it's my choice. And I'm no longer saying I have to drive them because that's simply not true. I don't have to. I want to. And if I'm being honest, I like to drive them. Similarly, I look at taking the time to mow the lawn or shovel the snow as 2 welcome ways to get outside and get a combination of movement and fresh air year-round. Most of my neighbors have someone do these tasks for them, but I think of these as winning opportunities to move my body and get outdoors, both of which are scientifically proven to be good for our health. Since reframing my busyness with my kids and finding myself in a better mood, I've been able to be more flexible about everything. I started going to the grocery store on my way home from school drop-off. My favorite grocery store isn't directly on the way home, but a good enough grocery store is. And so I started reminding myself that I'm so lucky to be able to swing by to get the staples I need for the next couple of days on my way home. Doing most of my grocery shopping on the way home from school drop-off ends up being a huge time saver because it doesn't involve a separate trip. And once I have the groceries I need to make healthy foods, I'm more committed to cooking in the evening. Once a week or so, if I don't need to pick up groceries, I'll take a yoga class immediately after school drop-off before starting to work. I don't count this as being busy. I count this as amazing new me time that I get to take now that I've gotten into a better brain space about what it means to be busy. There's no award at the end of life for having the most booked up calendar, which has been a wonderful revelation for me. You might be feeling tethered, and especially if you have little kids, I understand that your level of flexibility might seem really different from mine. But remember, it's your choice if you choose to be involved in your kids' school. It's your choice to bring your work home at night. It's your choice to live in a house that has a lawn you need to mow or sidewalks that you need to shovel. I know this might seem snarky or negative, but I really don't mean it that way at all. I just want to remind you that you probably have more agency than you realize. You could outsource some tasks to free up time with your kids, or you could outsource some kid duties in order to have more time for your work, or to cook, or to exercise, or to hang out with a friend. When we frame what we do as our choice, it's more appealing. We feel less busy. My husband and I both work a lot, so we can afford to live in a neighborhood that we love. But we could choose to work fewer hours and find a different neighborhood, one with equally nice neighbors, I'm sure. It's our choice to live here and our choice to work the way we do. When we recognize that we're choosing the things that make us feel busy, we also recognize that we could choose something else. And suddenly, maybe we don't want to. I promise to give you 5 tips to impact your busyness and give you back some time to dedicate to your health and to weight loss. So here we go. Step number 1, write down how you spend your time and highlight any things that you'd like to drop. Step 2, notice what you highlighted and remind yourself that you don't have to do those things. You have a choice. Some of the tasks you dropped from your schedule will stay dropped to give you a little time back. Others that you choose to keep may benefit from reframing, which is step number 3. Decide what you'd like to keep on your schedule and see if reframing might help. Maybe you dropped mow the lawn or shovel the snow off your schedule because it's not how you'd love to spend your time. That doesn't mean you're never going to have to deal with your yard again, but it's an opportunity to get creative. Maybe someone in your house would be willing to take on that chore if it's one that you particularly despise. Maybe you'll hire someone to do it. Or maybe you'll notice that you don't have to do that task, but you prefer doing it yourself because it's a way to get outdoors, take a brain break, and move your body. Personally, I love yard work because I consider it a treat. I play upbeat music that I enjoy, and I choose the thought that I have the best chores in the whole family. They can all deal with dishes or laundry inside the house while I'm outside moving my body and breathing fresh air. Is there anything on your to-do list that you'd like to simply reframe? Okay, on to step 4. Notice where you have a little wiggle room in your schedule now and get creative. Redesign your schedule to include some time for things that support your health or your weight loss goals. How do you want to spend your time? Make sure those things show up on your calendar. Step 5. Make sure everything on your priority list has a time block on your calendar. Even if it's just 15 minutes to walk around the block before your first work meeting of the day, put that on your calendar and honor your calendar reminder. This is a key step to make this work. I like to block time for my health and wellness goals first and plug in my work meetings around those times whenever possible. That's the last step. So now it's time to choose your NBA, your next best action. If you're feeling pulled in too many directions, if you're too busy, pull out that notebook and work through the 5 steps. Actually, I have to say, there's only one thing keeping you busy, and that's your brain. Your brain might be telling you that you don't have a choice about all the things that are keeping you so busy, but I'm here to tell you that that's not a fact. It's just a thought you're having, and you have the power to choose a new thought. If your MBA is to work through these 5 steps, or even just to reframe how you choose to spend your time, you will feel less tethered. You're in charge. It's your list, your life, and you can let go of being busy if it doesn't feel good to you anymore. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like more support during your smart weight loss journey, check out our group coaching program at smartweightlosscoaching.com. Until next time, stay well and stay smart.